time to talk about The Boys, Season 4, Episode 1 through 3. The show started out really gritty, really good in the first season, and to be honest, in my opinion, it's just gotten better, man. It's not a show that you would sit down and watch with the kids. It's not that kind of a superhero show. It is more of an unhinged, what if superheroes were real today kind of a thing. Had a great start. It picks up pretty much where the last season ended. Not exactly the same spot, but pretty much the same place. They talk about Billy, the butcher. He's got between 12 and 18 months to live, but I think he's going to live longer. He's a great character. He's diabolical, and I think he's going to last longer than what they're predicting. Something that struck me was the boys are both working for the CIA, but also running from the Seven. If the Seven, if Homelander or the Deep or Noir were to meet them on the street, they'd probably be in a fight. But they work for the CIA, so it seems like they would be protected against that kind of stuff. But who knows? This show kind of reminds me of True Blood, in the sense that True Blood was a book that became a show. And I noticed that it was deviating from the book when Lafayette was not the body that they found in the garbage can. When it wasn't Lafayette, I was like, oh, okay, they're making changes. But they were good changes, great changes, and the show moved along well. This show, Black Noir, when he was killed, there were some changes before, some artistic license that they were taking. But when Black Noir was killed, that's when I knew, okay, well, this isn't exactly like the comic. But I think I see where they're going. Now that Black Noir's dead and they've replaced him, honestly, I thought they were just going to bring that dude back, but they just brought the costume back. There's a different person in the costume who I think he's a super. I'm not sure if he's a super or not. He hasn't done anything yet really except for pose. I assume he's going to have superpowers or does have superpowers. But Black Noir was a non-talking mute ninja. This dude talks a lot. And he gets into weird karate stances, so I'm thinking he probably doesn't know martial arts. That's a thing. You gotta wonder, who is the new Black Noir? That's a thing for me. I thought it was gonna be one person, but I don't think it's that person. When he speaks, he sounds as if he may be African American. So the actual actor that plays Noir under the suit is African American. I think that's him. A little bit of a spoiler. You guys are ready, I'm hoping, for a little bit of a spoiler. The Stan Edgar, an African American, was not too terribly scared of Homelander. I think it's because he had someone that could defend him. And I think it's the new Black Noir. He clearly sounds like an African American person. So I'm thinking that is Stan Edgar's kid, who he superdosed with the same chemical, compound V that he gave Homelander, probably more, I imagine. And I'm thinking he's more powerful. And this could relate to what happened in the comic book. I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to try to toss us a little bit of a swerve there. Where's Queen Maeve? First 3 episodes, we haven't seen her, and nobody's really talked about her. I understand that they think she's dead, the Seven does, but the boys, they shouldn't think she's dead. Do they think she's dead too? She's just out there. And since they didn't kill her off, they could bring her back. So I'm sure she's going to come back and do something. I noticed in this first 3 episodes, they're paying a lot of attention to A-Train, which is cool. He's a great actor, and A-Train is important in this iteration of the boys, more so than he was in the comic book. So A-Train is it's a good part of the show. They haven't really talked about his heart condition. I'm guessing they're moving past that. But they do talk about his brother. His brother still does not care for him and his activities, which I think is weighing heavy on him. So he's probably going to be like, oh no, my brother doesn't dig me no more, but I love my brother, so I got to change. He looks like he's in that I think I need a change stage, so much so that the boys think that they can maybe pull him to their side. And there's a couple of things that happen that make you say, he might be an actual good guy coming up, or he's going to have a tragic end. Either that, one or the other, definitely. There's a new big bad for the CIA. Someone who apparently is worse than Billy the Butcher. He's like Billy the Butcher on steroids. He's a worse version of him. And you can tell, you can feel that he's a bad dude. And he greets Billy with an open hand and friendship, but you quickly learn that he's just using him to get to his particular ends. We're going to see more of him, but he's probably going to die too. Homelander, I just imagine, is going to start killing everybody. There's 2 more members. They needed 3 members. There's 2 more members because Maeve left, or they think she's dead. Black Noir died, who they replaced. Translucent is still gone. And then, so that's 2. And then you've got Starlight. That's 3. So they needed to replace 3 characters. They ended up replacing 2 characters. One was a young lady named Sage, right? But they call her Sister Sage, which she says she notices the racial undertones. You know, she says that when people talk to her, she hears it. So she's there, and her super ability is she is the smartest person on the entire planet. I'm assuming that they tested that, you know. So she's the smartest person on the planet. And I don't think it's just like with mechanics or something like that, you know, agriculture. She's able to manipulate people. She might have a little bit of slight mental powers. I don't know. I don't really think so, but maybe, because she's manipulating people like chess pawns. And I'm watching this show, and the way she's talking to people and the way she's doing things, I'm like, she's manipulating people. She's on the 7, but she's already moved herself very quickly into a position of power. And I think she's manipulating Homelander too. I think she's going to have him twisted around her little finger. She did something to get the deep twisted around her little finger or whatever. And I think she's going to be the new big bad, is what I think. I think after Homelander, it's going to be all her. She seems like she's really good at manipulating people. She gives me a Lex Luthor vibe. All of the boys, all of the people in the boys, especially mostly the Supes, are taken from Marvel and DC, mostly from Marvel and DC. and I think she's going to be their Lex Luthor, which I kind of dig. But Sister Sage, you know, you hear the racism in that, because she doesn't call herself that, they call her that. And that's, you know, she don't want it, that ain't right. But there's another young lady who is Caucasian, and she has a big MAGA presence. I'm not saying it's good, I'm not saying it's bad, but they are clearly, you know, making her similar to what you see on the news every night. She's saying a lot of the same things. She's doing a lot of the same stuff. Some of the conspiracy theories that you hear, she is making on the show. And she calls herself, because she's a country girl, she calls herself Firecracker. And she means that. And she sounds like at first she didn't sound like she was going to be a very interesting character when they first showed her, but when they gave a little bit of her backstory, I kind of felt for her. You know, I kind of understood her anger, at least partially where it's pointed at, not widespread across the spectrum. Her anger is just, you know, nuts, bag of cats. But there's one particular thing that she's pointing her anger at that I'm like, okay, that happened in your past, that happened to you? That wasn't right. So she also may be someone who gets, because of what happened to her in the past, she may get pulled to the good side. She might be an actual hero before the end of this. There's a dude that has, you know, it's The Boys, and you know The Boys is as close as regular TV is going to get to X rated, but there's a dude who gets involved in an orgy with himself. I mean, if you got superpowers, if people today had superpowers, different super abilities, there's no telling what they would be doing. Everybody wouldn't be a clean-cut hero or a clear-cut villain. Everybody would be, you know, pretty much who they are today, exaggerated, you know, in wrestling, WWE and stuff like that. I heard The Rock once say that Dwayne Johnson is The Rock turned up to 1,000. So it would be you. You would just be magnified. If you're a little bit of a bad person, getting superpowers could make you worse. If you always wanted to stand up for the little guy, but you never had the strength to, getting superpowers could make you do it. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's in people's minds? But this dude, he's straight up whack a dude. It's a section that lasts only about 30 seconds. But that is 31 seconds of my life I really wish I could get back. Blew my mind. I watched it and I was like, ah! And I started throwing lava in my eyes so I didn't have to see it. But, I mean, when you see the guy, you're like, he's clearly hooking himself up with himself. The season is really starting off as a banger, man. It's really good. It's drawn me in. I can't wait for the next episode. They kick Billy out. Billy gets kicked out. And the woman tells Frenchie that she's in love with him, right? Okay, that makes sense. They were having like a you know, do you want to be my girlfriend type of relationship. They were having that. And she tells him, I love you, but me and you are never going to happen. And I hear her say, well, you don't hear her say it because she only sign languages, right? You know she says that, but at the same time, she appears to me to be maybe jealous of Frenchie's new thing. And I don't know what's going on with her. I think she might have a girlfriend. because certain things happen, and there's a girl involved, and it's either a close relative or she's dating. It's her ex or something. There's a girl involved in her life now, and only briefly. They only show her briefly, but there's a connection there, and I'm not sure what it is yet. But the fact that she's pushing, she tells Frenchie she loves him, but she's pushing him away so hard, makes me think maybe it's somebody else. And it might be. I think. I don't know. I'm curious. There's a lot of things that are popping up, make you want to question what's going on. I'm curious, man. I'm really curious about what's happening. But this is a really good show. I would give this show, The Boys, season 4. I would give this first 3 episodes 9 bags of popcorn. 9 bags of popcorn. Because that's what I think about that. More importantly, what do you think about that? Now that you've seen the video, let's talk about it some more in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn passport. Get your popcorn passport.